Hey y'all, welcome to Racing Crafts. Today I'm going to make a card for Operation Right Home. If you guys don't know what it is, you need to seriously Google it and check it out because they are amazing. So let's get started here. What I have is, I have my card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's going to be a top fold card. I have two 4 by 5 1/4 inch pieces of this Raspberry Recollections cardstock. And then I have two 3 3/4 by 5 inch pieces of white cardstock. One is going on the front of our card and one is going inside our card. And then I have 3 pieces of pattern paper here. And these are color book, whatever you want to call them, papers. These are from the Brights 4 1/2 by 7 1/4 photo mat set. And what I did to get these are I cut them at 2 1/2 by 5, and that gave me a rectangle. And then I just lined it up on my trimmer and I cut into triangles. So I have 2 of those, and then I have a 1 1/4 inch piece that I just cut straight. The sentiment I'm going to be using is from Unity Stamp. It is the Great Love and Miracles stamp. So let's go ahead and get started. I have an idea of what I want it to look like, but we'll see if it turns out the way I think it's going to. So, alright. These are the pieces I'm going to need to start. And let's go ahead. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some, I guess it's like score tape, I guess you would call it. Something along that lines, because I want to make sure this paper stays. If you've got ATG, you could go ahead and use that, but I don't have ATG right now. So this is what I'm using. And I'm just going to do 3 pieces, and then I can fill in with my regular adhesive like this. Alright, and what I'm going to do, and I've already kind of laid it out, so I have a generalized idea of what this should look like once I get these pieces off, and they are not wanting to come off. Okay, there we go. Just break out my hooky tool. It'll get the job done. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my teal color. And you know, I think I'm going to run just a little bit of adhesive along these edges here. Alright, and I'm just going to line up the corner of my paper with the corner of this little base piece here. You could use copy paper or whatever, but I just happen to have cardstock laying around. And then I'm going to flip it over because I want to get these 2 corners done first. And I'm just lining the paper up with the edges here. Whoops, that one I didn't get lined up real great. We'll see if it still works. Alright.
Don't let me go back to do something else.
And then I'm just going to slide this down here. And it looks like I'm about a 1/4 inch off. So, but that's alright. I can handle that. an eighth of an inch. If it pops up a little bit, you could use a little bit of adhesive or some glue and just put that there. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm just going to trim off the excess. And like I said, I didn't get that top lined up real great, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off that part that I got over, and I've got to get a little bit more adhesive under that corner. Alright, so then this is going to be the front of my card, and I'm just going to go ahead and mount that on another one of my pieces of the raspberry paper, and I'm once again using a little bit of score tape just to make sure that the card front stays. Alright, so we're just going to line that up like that, and then this is going to go on our card. And once again, just a little piece of score tape. And we'll go ahead and get that on the front of our card. Just like that. Now I'm going to take a little, well, let's go ahead and do the inside of the card too. Go. Oop. There we go. And I'm just going to leave the inside of the card blank, so there's lots of room for the soldier to write. Like that. Alright, now I'm going to do my stamping, which means I'm going to go ahead and stamp the Operation Write Home on the back. And then I'm going to set this part aside, and I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of white paper. And I'm going to use Hibiscus Burst dye ink from Paper Tray Inks. And that's what I'm going to use to stamp with. Right. Okay, that turned out pretty good. Alright, and I'm just going to grab my trimmer here, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball trim it. Alright. And I'm just gonna grab a little bit of adhesive here, and I'm gonna mount it on another piece of the raspberry colored paper. And then I'm just going to trim that with like, an 1/8 inch border on all sides. but I'm just gonna eyeball it, so it might turn out more than 1/8 of an inch or not. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to use some foam dots, pop dots, whatever you want to call them, and that's what I'm going to adhere my sentiment with. And you can use foam tape or fun foam or whatever you would use to pop it up. This is just going to be a real basic all occasion card. And I'm just going to pop that right in the middle of my card. And there's our card for today. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see y'all next time.